This manuscript explores life, death, what lies beyond, all through the lens of classical physics. This process of exploration is a journey in itself, and we have already started on this journey by taking the first few steps in our previous sessions. In this session, let's explore how do we think. Let us deep dive into the circuitry of human beings and let's understand the process of thinking in the context of these human circuitry. In the previous session, we discussed about the heart and how it becomes the source of pulsating current and pulsating electric field, and how that in turns generate the pulsating magnetic field. If you haven't seen that session yet, be sure to watch it first. It will provide you the necessary context. Now, the pulsating magnetic field gets stored in the system of human circuitry in something that works like an inductor. If you'd like to get a proof of existence for this inductor, let's consider the MRI procedure. You may be aware that MRI procedure brings a magnet near human and then removes it, and human body's paramagnetic substance emits a magnetic energy that it has stored due to the temporary presence of the magnet, and MRI machine detects and analyzes that radiated magnetic energy for further imaging. Now, this storage of magnetic energy is only possible if there is an inductor-like function in the system of human circuitry. The same inductor also stores the pulsating magnetic field that gets generated due to the pulsating electric field. So, as elaborated in this table, the heart acts like an electric dipole. It works like the source of pulsating current. Heart with circulatory system works like electric dipole connected through conductive path with certain impedance. Heart with all the muscles and skin around it works like an electric dipole connected through insulated medium working like a capacitor. And we already have discussed about the inductor component. Let's move on to see how this circuit looks like with all components connected together. So this is how the circuitry of human being looks like. You have the heart as a source of pulsating current, and then you have it connected through the conductive path, the circulatory system, which has certain impedance, and it also has that ability to the paramagnetic substance has the ability to store the magnetic energy. So essentially, this becomes the heart with the circulatory system with the inductor also in place. This becomes a system, a part of the circuitry, and then heart has this muscles and skin around it, which is providing an insulated medium, and that creates a capacitor like existence, and this provides this part of the circuitry. Now this is the circuitry of human being, and in the next slide we'll realize that this is actually similar to something that is very well known in the world of electronics and communication. The circuit looks exactly similar. Let's see which one is that. So in the world of electronics and communication, this circuit looks exactly what a circuitry would look like for receiving and transmitting electromagnetic wave, the antenna circuit. Now, this circuitry performs both the functions, receiving of electromagnetic signals and transmitting of electromagnetic signals, but sequentially, keeping the alignment with cardioelectrical cycles. While the cardio cycles show electrical activities in the ECG As you are seeing in the top ECG graph now, the circulatory systems of the body makes the ions flow. This develops the conductive circuit path that starts from the heart dipole and follows through to the resistor and inductor. This time, the circuit functions like a receiving loop antenna, and electromagnetic wave passes through the system, gets received and absorbed by this circuitry. Since the receiving of the electromagnetic waves can only be done by tracing the change in the flow of ions, it requires to be aligned with the cardioelectrical activity. And that's exactly how this human circuitry operates. And it aligns perfectly well with the science of the receiving loop antenna. Now, let's see how this human circuitry perform the function of transmission of electromagnetic signals. To perform as a transmitter, we need an LC circuit. L stands for inductor, C stands for capacitor. In the world of electronics and communication, an LC circuit is what generates and transmits the electromagnetic waves. So in this human circuitry, it becomes an LC circuit when the heart is in resting state. During the rest state of the heart, there are no changing electric fields and current in the body. So the functional part of the circuit is only the LC part, as it is shown in the diagram. And the resting state of the heart shows up as the moment of stillness in the ECG, when the line remains flat for the short duration. In these moments of stillness, the LC circuit functions solely on the stored energy of the inductor. And the magnetic field develops an oscillating electric field around the capacitor of same frequency due to what we call as back EMI, the electromagnetic induction exerted by the inductor upon the capacitor. This phenomena establishes a resonance between the oscillating magnetic field of the inductor and oscillating electric field of the capacitor. This situation triggers the electromagnetic radiation from this LC circuit. It generates and transmits the electromagnetic wave of the resonating frequency of LC circuit. This is how the human circuitry performs both the function, receiving, absorbing of the ELF wave, as well as generating, transmitting of the ELF wave. So if we reflect on what we have just discussed, listening, absorbing, and thinking, communicating at millisecond level is perhaps a sequential process. Now, doing both back to back with full effectiveness could be highly demanding for the design of human circuitry. The trick is to develop effective time planning for each. All right, that's how far we would go today in this session. But before wrapping up, here is an important reminder. Life is a beautiful and precious gift. It's so valuable that often the value is incomprehensible in the narrower context of few life experiences and situations. But it becomes comprehensible if the value of life is seen in much deeper and truer context. This effort attempts to capture that deeper and truer context for people who have scientific and logical bent of mind. Scientific elaborations are basic in nature so that it becomes easier to comprehend. But the science behind life and beyond are much more intrinsic in nature, much more complex and subtle. So use these basic understanding to conceptualize the deeper and truer context of life. But please don't misuse these to carry out experiments on yourself or others. You and your conscience both are far more valuable than that. We will develop the line of thinking further in the subsequent sessions. Keep watching.